So hello everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to the new day and new vlog. Today we have with us our beloved Muntasir, and we thought that today we'll discuss about one of the important topics, that is living expenses in Kaiserslautern, Germany.
Correct.
One of the students, I would like to thank him as well. He suggested that this topic can also be discussed. So we thought that we'll try to cover the points and especially our experience, because cost might vary, but with our experience you might get a general idea about the expenses that we do in a month and how much it costs to us. So if we start with our expense.
So among the various type of expenses in a month, I
Yeah.
think the first one is the rent.
Yeah.
The rent is, I would say, 300 to 350 euros per month.
Yeah.
But as he said, this is subjective.
Yeah.
Depending on where you are living,
Yeah.
or which type of apartment you are living,
Yeah.
the rent can be changed. For example, but usually in a dorm is 300, around 300 to 350 euros, or a single shared apartment
Yeah.
is the cost that much.
Yeah, so I think since he's talking about the dorm, so like I'm paying 255 euros. It also depends on the type of room that you have. When I first came, then if you have seen or not, then you can go and see some of the videos in accommodation in Germany playlist. Then for my first apartment, which was a private shared apartment, I paid 398 euros. After that, now I'm paying 255 euros. Muntasir, I think previously paid
300 euros. Now I'm paying around 650 euros.
650 euros.
And
Yeah.
here for this rent, actually the electricity, the water supply,
Yeah.
and the internet, that is actually all the relevant expenses are included.
Correct. So I think it depends on what type of apartment one person have, whether it is furnished, whether it is not furnished. Like Muntasir explained yesterday when he was showing his apartment, then he had to buy some of the stuff.
Correct.
But I think that is a one-time payment
Correct,
that you
correct.
have to pay. That's not a recurring payment that you have to pay every month. So
That's
once,
true.
suppose if it is an unfurnished apartment, then you can buy some stuff for the first time, and then you can maybe avoid that cost
That's
if you
true,
don't
that's
damage that.
That's one-time cost. Even though I would say that for the first month, bring a little bit more euro
Yeah.
to accommodate the first month, but usually the rent is around, like I said, 300 to 350 euros.
Correct.
Per month.
It can go to 400, like in my case. Also, some people sometimes they choose stay too, so it depends on what type of accommodation. Some people I have heard that they pay even 500 euros,
Correct.
or sometimes if they are not finding much option, then they pay 450 euros. And in student dorm, like I told, you pay 255 euros. So this is a kind of range that one has to pay for the accommodation. Now, the next cost which is there apart from accommodation.
Is health insurance.
Yeah.
Even though some might say that why are we do need it, but is actually needed.
Yeah.
So here health insurance is mandatory.
Yeah.
And for students those ages less than 30, the cost is 125.21
Euros for
per
TK
month.
health insurance. We are paying this much amount, so you can add this cost up with your accommodation. After that, the next cost, since we talked about accommodation, so it's the radio tax.
Correct.
So if we talk about the radio tax, then I think we pay around 18.36 euros. Now, this is a cost for an apartment. Suppose if, like for my case, it's a 3 shared apartment, so we can divide the radio cost as well, and then it can cost us, for example, 6.12 euros. And what about you?
So for my previous apartment, it was 3 shared, so
Yeah.
I was paying 6 point something euros.
Yeah.
But now I live in a single apartment in a 2 room, so I pay fully the 18.36 euro per month for me.
Yeah, so see, it depends if you're living whether alone, means the only single apartment, not alone, but
That's
single
true, that's
apartment. But or if you're living in a shared apartment, then you can divide that radio cost.
It's
Yeah.
mandatory as well.
Yeah, so and I think the other cost is your internet cost.
Correct.
It also depends on your plan, on the company that you take. For example, for me, I had to buy the router, right? You can check the router cost, or you if you want to get a cable. Also, I think for SIM card, since we're talking about the internet, it depends on your plan. For me, I took maybe around 8 to 10 euros. You can assume that you can take that plan, although you can take 6 euro plan as well. And what about you?
For
Your-
me, my SIM was around 8 euros. So similar
8
to
euros.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
8
And-
euros, similar to that. That is good enough for me. For 8 euro, it was 4 GB, and it was
Which SIM?
It's Aldi.
Aldi SIM. Yeah.
hardly SIM. So it is okay for me because I have Wi-Fi at home,
Yeah.
Wi-Fi at university.
Yeah.
So 4 GB internet is good enough.
Okay, so this is the internet cost, like we covered the radio tax and then the internet cost. What else cost is there?
So I think apart from this, we have the food.
Yeah.
That is also mandatory.
Yeah, yeah.
So it actually again is can vary person to person, but I would say 150 euros to 200 euros you can assume as a food expenses.
Yeah.
Because after the Ukraine Russia war, the cost of everything has been priced up. So now everything has a little bit of more pricey than before.
Yeah.
This is another of the reason that our cost of block account has been increased. That we will say soon, but I
Yeah.
think if you say 200 euros for food, I think it is okay.
I think this also depends on person to person, the particular food cost. Like Mutasir told about his expense. I think for me also it is between 150 to 200 euros. But there might be some other expenses. For example, I think when we bought the Deutschland ticket,
That's true. For
Yeah.
Deutschland ticket for a student, even though with discount, I think it's around
23.52 something.
Correct.
It gets debited.
That's true. And if you are having a special treat, for example, donor or anything, then
That's
the
your
cost-
personal expense as well.
That's true.
Yeah, and I think like you have Deutschland ticket. Also, for example, I go to Unifit. Now my plan is till 4 p.m. and also I have Fruity Bar included.
Yes.
You can watch about Unifit in Unifit playlist. I will put the link in the description. But it cost me per month 22.9 euros. So I think these cost also gets added up.
That's
so
true.
we have the accommodation cost. Then we have, like he told, the health insurance.
Yeah.
Then we have the SIM card. Then the internet cost.
That's
And
true.
the Unifit cost is a, I think, surplus.
That's true.
If,
But I think if we count the rent is mandatory, health insurance,
Yeah.
radio bill,
Yeah.
and what is else mandatory? Food.
Yeah.
So I think for this around 700 euros you can save.
700 to 800 euros,
Correct,
you can
correct,
assume.
correct.
But see, that depends on your person expense. If you got a room for 500 euros, then this cost will increase for you.
Correct.
Or if suppose you don't spend 150 to 200 euros, then this cost can be reduced for a particular
that's
person.
True, that's true.
Yeah.
And another important point is I think for our block account, even though now it has been increased, now it's 934 euro, right?
Correct.
So yeah, so that is it. And if you are getting every month 934 euro per month
Yeah.
in your bank account, as long as you have the block account,
Yeah.
and from that, based on a basic expenses 700 to 800, and then additional expenses like he said,
Yeah.
gym, Deutschland ticket,
Yeah.
other trips, or however you want to spend.
Yeah. So I think you can manage with your
That's true,
blocked
that's
account
true.
money with
Correct,
this expenses in Kaiserslautern. We are
Correct.
talking about the city here where we live in.
Oh, we have actually started walking as
Yeah,
well.
it's quite sunny as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So we thought let's walk and continue the videos.
Yeah. So if we summarize about this topic, living expenses in Kaiserslautern, then how would you see that?
So for living expenses, like we already discussed, the rent,
Yeah.
the health insurance,
Yeah.
and your radio bill.
Yeah.
And another important point I would say is the semester fee.
Yeah.
That you have to pay every 6 months.
Correct.
So that's not your daily living expenses.
Yeah.
And for the first month, I would suggest to
Yeah.
bring a little bit more money.
Yeah.
Because initially to unblock your account, it may take some time.
Take some time. Yeah.
Sometime around 1 month or
Yeah.
more.
Or depends on your appointment as well. When you do
that's
the city registration and other processes, you can also see about those processes in RPTU Kaiserslautern playlist.
Correct.
But I think this is important point because we carried some cash with us. So in some places you might need that maybe to buy some groceries for the initial days, right?
That's
And so I think it's good to carry some cash initially, but this is a one-time cost. Since when you come here, like he bought some furniture.
Correct.
So I think this is a one-time cost. Semester fees is like every 6 months you have to pay. But if we talk about our daily expenses in Kaiserslautern, then I would say that 700 to 800 is quite manageable.
Quite
It can go a little upwards based on your, suppose if you took some card, right? Suppose for a semester we also get some membership cards, or you have some subscriptions which are related to
That's
fitness, like you go to Unifit or you have some swimming course.
That's
So
true.
that can be, I think, depends on person to person. And
Another thing additionally, what happen can that for example internet.
Yeah.
You are taking your home internet separately.
Yeah.
You are not living in
Yeah.
dorm.
Yeah.
You are taking in internet separately. Then you have to talk with the authority. For
Yeah.
example, for me,
Yeah.
for the Vodafone,
Yeah.
the first 6 months is free.
Yeah.
Even though they have actually offered me that we will give you the first 6 months free, but
Yeah.
it's actually official any offer.
yeah.
But it will cost you, I would say, 50, 60 around euros based on your plan.
50, 60, yeah.
Yeah.
But it depends. It's your
That's
personal
true,
internet plan.
That's
And
true.
like I told, for me, sometimes I pay maybe 7, 8 or 10 euros for the mobile SIM card, like the internet cost. And you can see the plans based on your particular SIM. Like Muntasir told, he pays certain amount. And you have from Aldi,
Yeah, that's true.
the Aldi SIM. So it depends, I think, on your plan. But I hope you get some overview about how much does it cost for a month if you are living in Kaiserslautern. And this is, see, our own experience. Your food cost might be less compared to the groceries that you buy, or the diet that you follow. It can increase as well, right? Or the internet cost, like maybe certain other plan might suit you. Also the radio tax, if you're living in shared apartment, it can be divided, or if you're paying that by your own. So if you're living in a single apartment, but I think you get some idea through this information that how much we are paying right now. For me, sometimes the expenses may be more than 800 euros, because there might be some trips as well.
Yes.
I think Muntasir, if you remember, in sometimes we used to travel to Cologne
That's
and
true.
yeah,
We
Cologne,
did
or
some trip together.
yeah. So like
So yeah, it actually varies on your monthly cost. For
Yeah.
some month you can have more expenses, for some month
yeah,
less.
yeah.
But usually those are the round figures.
Those are the round figures. And maybe you want to explore some place around here, or if suppose if you travel to Paris, see, that's your own personal expense as well. But I think to manage your basic expenses, like suppose the needs, maybe food, like internet, you might need, you also need a SIM card, right? It depends on your need. And also you have to pay semester fees, you have to pay the health insurance, your accommodation will be debited from your account. So I think this can be manageable within the blocked account money.
Correct.
Now how much you save from that blocked account money depends on you.
That's up to you.
But I think you can manage in the blocked account money in Kaiserslautern, and this range 700 to 800 euros. I think we would
It's quite
say that
manageable,
it's quite manageable. I remember when you were living in shared apartment, then you had around like this cost,
Yeah,
right?
that's true. Around the similar
Yeah,
cost.
yeah. But now I think Munsir is paying 650 euros for
Correct,
an apartment.
rent.
So
my other cost is adjusted. It was my monthly expense will be a little bit more.
yeah, correct. Yeah, so I think that's it for this video. Thank you again for the person or the student who suggested about this topic, and thank you Muntasir as well for coping with the sunshine, because it is quite sunny today. And that's it for this video. Rest, like, comment, share, subscribe. It doesn't take much time. Bye bye, ciao ciao, namaste.
Assalamu alaikum.
Chalo, see you in new day, new vlog.